Beautiful Wednesday afternoon. I'm playing 5 tables of 50 NL on Coin Poker. I've already adjusted quite the action while I was setting it up. Aces once, kings twice, queens once, and now I got totally owned by 9 deuce suited, blind versus blind. I went for some hero calls, and here we have ace king on ace 10 9. I am gonna check this one back, even though it is a great hand, but we're multi-way, and I want to start with a check. Let's see what the action is now with this queen on the turn. The small blind is tanking. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but he is not playing. Right here we open queen jack, got called by the big blind, 10 10 9. We have an open ender. So I'm going to start with a small bet. Yeah, and here this is getting a bit ridiculous now, although now he's finally acted, or I don't even know if he acted or if he just ran out of time. But either way, now that they're both checking, I am actually going to go quite big on this. I think a jack never folds. Maybe jack 10, jack 9, queen jack. Maybe even king queen. Or some weak ace like ace 5, 4, 3 deuce, or anything that's not any ace that's not two pair. And they both fold. Okay. Yes, I totally got owned by 9 deuce suited. I opened queen 9 and the flop came ace 9 deuce, and the guy triple barreled on it, and he even continued barreling when the backdoor flush came in and a backdoor straight, and I just thought he is full of it there, because he had his entire pre-flop calling range still by the river intact, as I never challenged him. So I thought, well, he's just repping really thinly there, but he did have 9 deuce for 2 pair. So that was very unfortunate. But we've had bad starts before, and it worked out all right. Also, we did make some money with our kings, so it's okay. Queen 5 off, bit too loose to open on the button even. And once again, my system says that I'm streaming 25NL and Sunday tournaments. I am really sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with my streaming software, because I've tried to change it so many times and it just keeps saying that. So I will have to make some changes there, because that's just not good. But anyway, now that we're here, we're going to play 50NL. Okay, so this guy, this is the one here on top left who triple barreled against me. He now barreled with a draw and then followed through with an all-in on the river with his king of diamonds. So he is capable of bluffing. It makes me feel a little bit better that I paid him off there. in the hand that I described earlier. Pocket fives, seven-handed early position is just a fold. And 9-7 off, obviously fold. Okay, these hands are not exactly playable. Having to wait. Eight, six. Well, hit the muck straight away. Yeah, we had all our good hands before I even started streaming. Now we're going through a rougher patch of cards. Nine deuce off. Not much I can do with these hands. But we have pocket queens in the small blind. This might be a bit more of a playable hand. And definitely going to 3-bet it against the button raise. Pocket fours we can open in the cutoff when we take it down with the queens. That's fine too. Ten three suited, I'm not going to open it on the button even if players fold. Yeah, so I changed the layout a little bit, if you've noticed, because I've been playing around with it. But here I just think this is good. Right, so here we're getting 3-bet and we are in position with our fours, so we shouldn't always call, but if he only makes it 8 big blinds, we do get the right odds to call there. And obviously on this board we just have to fold, I think, even though he bets small and we have position. But we don't even have the 4 of diamonds, and all we have is 2 undercards. So I'm just going to fold this hand now. I 3-bet ace-5 suited against an early position open. This is a little loose, but I think it is the GTO 3-betting bluff hand, and I wouldn't have a lot of bluff hands there. Hijack versus early position, so I'm okay to do that. And we're getting 4-bet, which I'm not surprised, but yeah, the thing is now he's made it quite big. We're getting 2-1, and I think with ace-5 suited, it's probably marginal either way, but I'm going to fold. This is one that I will have to look up though. Pocket fives, I'm just folding it. A7 suited, now I'm folding this one. Ace king on the button. Queen jack off or the position we have to fold. 7-6 off against a 2.2x raise will just be a fold. And it folds around to us with our ace king. We get called, and on this board, this is a overbet board with a king and a jack and the flush draw. Definitely going to overbet this one. He can't have kings, he can't have jacks. But of course I would have wanted him to call with some draw or a weaker king or a jack. But unfortunately he folded. But we have another chance maybe. Ace king on the button again. And jack deuce off is a fold. Blind versus blind. Okay, well, let's try again. Opening ace king. Getting called this time. Not quite. I can go either way here. I'm going to start with a small bet. I expect to get check raised a fair bit by this player. He's the one who 4-bet me earlier. Yep, so here we go. And with this hand, I'm okay to call. That's a decent card for me, although if he had a flush draw, he is now pretty good. And yeah, this is a GTO player. Doesn't mean that he's a great GTO player, but definitely is a GTO player with this sizing. So nothing else to do than to call. And now we have the second, well, not the second nuts actually, because there are 3 straight flushes possible here. The 10-9, the 4-5, and the 9-5. And he bets pretty big now, and yeah, he could have the ace of hearts, but whatever. It is still only a bluff catcher, because he is saying that he's got a really strong hand here, but I just don't believe him. I am going to call, and he did have the ace. Oh my goodness, this was just such a setup here. Such a setup that he did that with just the ace of hearts, And then he got there, so I got mugged twice today on the same table by both players to my left. So yeah, the question is whether I should ever fold there, but I think on the flop I can't fold, and I'm with my hand with the King of Hearts, and then on the turn when the flush comes in, he bets small. At that point, I definitely have a call with the King of Hearts. And then on the river, when he goes that big, it does sound a lot like he has the ace high flush there. So maybe it is a tight fold. Maybe it is a tight fold. Because he has to worry that I have a big flush, and he will probably never bet that big with just some mediocre flush there. That's just showdown value territory. He'd either bet small or probably just check. So I think actually I made a mistake in this hand, looking back at it, with my river call. Because I just don't think population finds the triple barrel bluff there with just absolutely nothing, and or turning something into a bluff, and I don't think he would bet a set or anything. And because he doesn't bet weaker flushes, he basically is repping the ace of hearts and not much else, and he can't really have much else. So yeah, this was not a good play, but on the other hand, we do not expect to get every decision right. And yeah, that's something for you guys as well to learn from my mistakes, that you just have to think a bit more about the range. I was just not really fully concentrating there. So yeah, but if a player takes that line, and by the river you have to think, what are his bluffs? Is he gonna turn a set into a bluff? I doubt it. And is he gonna turn a small heart into a bluff? Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he would, and he wouldn't turn a medium heart into a bluff, which means that he doesn't have any bluffs, and he doesn't have any worse value. So all he has really is precisely the ace of hearts. Okay, king nine suited in the low jack is a fold. And here, I mean, shall we squeeze? I am gonna squeeze this one now that there is a little bit of dead money kind of in the small blind with a cold call there. He does call though, which is not great. So here I am gonna go with, no, actually I'm gonna start rather small. I think he is very pocket pair heavy, but he might better have a better ace X that he might even fold. And yep, folding he does, so that's great. Yeah, because if he had then like ace jack, ace queen, ace 10, or king queen, king jack, I'm very happy to fold all of those out. Yeah, so far today has not gone super well. But that's okay. We had a couple of good sessions in the last few streams. Here I'm opening king 6 offsuit, bottom right. It is very bottom of my opening range, the small blind, but it's okay. It called, and this is the same player. No, actually it's not the same player that had the 9 deuce earlier. Okay, well, now that he checked, I am going to overbet this one with my 2 pair. call, and then there is the 7 there. Definitely still going for value. I'm gonna go, yeah, 125 is pretty good. Unfortunately, he folds. 8-6 off against this guy who called in the small blind earlier. I don't really think. I mean, I probably have an edge, but I don't really have the cards. But then again, I am gonna call. We are on stream here, and we have position, and we're getting a good price with the antes. And he now checks, so I'm just gonna take a stab at it. Players don't bet enough. Okay, the 8 gives us some showdown value. The problem is that I don't think it really is showdown value, because he either has a flush draw, or now a flush then, or he had an ace. Okay, so now I am going to think, what can we get? How can we get an ace to fold? And I am going to go quite big here. 28 big blinds. Obviously, if he's slow playing a flush, he will call. But I think an ace or a jack, he might even have a jack, will fold. And he does fold. Great. Good for our red line. Definitely good for our red line. This is how I like to play. Okay, queen jack off, very marginal raise in the hijack, but I'm gonna do it now. With the antes, I can justify just about every loose action pre-flop, and look at this, we just win it. Okay. Okay, being a bit quiet, but I don't have any hands, so the queen 6 here is the best one I got at the moment. There's a limp, so let's just tag this player. Ooh, we have ace queen off. Tag this player. And I'm gonna check. Start with a check once again. Here we're getting called on jack 5-3. Here with queen 6, I'm just going to fold. Okay, gonna start with a small bet. Could of course also check. He checks again. I am going to check behind. And on this river, when he checks, I don't really think I can get him off much. I'd have to risk a lot. And I do have some showdown value. He can have weaker ace highs there. So I'm checking, and yep, that's exactly the case. He had ace-10. I don't think I can go for value there against a hand like ace-10, but that is certainly a good one. Right, we're gonna 3-bet pocket nines in the small blind against a low jack open. And right here, just here I'm going to isolate this player. Here I'm going to start with a check with my nines. I do need protection, but I'm out of position. He can have tens, jacks, maybe even queens there. So definitely going to start with a check and not doing anything more either. So sorry, we are here. I'm gonna go with a c bet. Here I'm gonna check. He calls. I'm definitely gonna double barrel this. And he calls again. And now this guy bets small again, which is interesting. But I will call for this price. I will definitely call again. And now we have the ace there. So he shouldn't really have a lot of ace-x. And here I can go just for a triple barrel, very thin one. Can I get him to fold tens or jacks? I've just waited too long now with a donk there. And he does bet, he does shove there. So maybe he hit a set. Can have queens, maybe sevens, sixes, it's not impossible, so that will be a fold then. Especially after I tank so long for him to go all in. Don't think he's bluffing. He would have to pull off a triple barrel bluff in a 3-bet pot as not as the aggressor, but as the caller. I don't think many players have that in them. Hey, Jack Deuce is everywhere. Jack Deuce, what bets went check to this guy? I think this hand is just not good enough to defend with against a 2.5x. Had he min clicked it, then yes, but not like this. Okay, there's a raise to 2.2 with a6 suited on the button. I mean, you could actually, why not? Let's just 3-bet this. Have a bit more fun. I think it's possible that folding is just the best, but yeah, it actually works. 8-7 off. I'm gonna fold in the small blind though. So we did get it through. That's great. I'm gonna open King Jack off. So is this? Yeah, this is the guy who called, and here we're getting 3-bet by the button. King Jack off is a marginal one, but we are going to 4-bet it. Because I don't think players shove enough at these stakes, but this player does shove. Great. Well, he either found a bluff there, or more likely he just has a hand, so that's fine. We'll have to give up our 19.4 big blinds. It's almost $10. we can live with that. And here we get called when we 3-bet our jacks, starting with a small bet on queen 3-3. Obviously he can have a queen there, but shouldn't have too many. But this player, he might call there with ace queen off. Normally he shouldn't in early position. Here we have ace queen off ourselves. Okay, this 8, I think now I prefer to just check. I can't get too much value. And this is pretty bad because now 8s beat me, 9s beat me, queens obviously beat me, a flush beats me, and all sorts of hands beat me. But because he checks, I'm pretty sure now I do have the best hand, although he might be afraid to bet a queen there. But I am going to go for rather thin value here for about half pot. He can have 10s, he can have 7s. I think 8s or 9s would have bet. I would have heard from them earlier, but obviously if he check raises, it's an easy fold. And I might value on myself against ace queen, king queen, that he is just afraid to value bet once the flush comes in. And we get called, and he mucks. Yep, this is how you get thin value. There's another 13 big blind that I got there with my thin value bet. Yeah, that was just good hand reading. I have to praise myself because, yeah, this is a passive player, and yes, as I said, you can have a queen there, absolutely. Then you check calls on the flop, then it goes check check on the turn, and then the flush comes in, and then a lot of weaker recreational players, they won't go for value there, so it is possible, but that doesn't mean that we have to play it super safe, because that's the other thing. This player, I'm pretty sure that he won't turn a pair into a bluff by check raising me. So if he check raises there, then I know he has slow played something, and I'm definitely beat. So that's why going for value is exactly the right thing there. Sometimes value owning yourself, obviously, but often it will pay off like it did here. And sometimes he will just fold if he missed something or he just had ace high. Then he'll just fold, but that's good too. Like, I mean, there's no harm done as long as he doesn't turn that into a check raise, which I think is unlikely with this player profile. So this player is more on the recreational side. Yeah, so this was really nice. Glad I got that little bit of extra value on the river. Mm-hmm. Not a really playable hand. ace 3 off, obviously not a hand to open in the low jack. Pocket deuces in the low jack, also definitely not an open. I know if you look at GTO charge, there is a sliver of opens with pocket deuces. And I know players who say, well, they have an edge, they will open them. But the thing is, this hand is so marginal that you will not be able to make any money with. And I've seen analyses where, like data analysis, where pros were saying that most good players even lose with more those fringe hands, so it's best to just let them go, especially if you're so early in the low jack. Okay, take one down with queen jack suited. Seven off, 9-6 off, jack 6 off. Okay, queen 8 off, also fold. Okay, here I have some notes on this player. That's good to know. A lot of 3-betting going on today. I haven't been 3-bet that much, but I've seen quite a few. And here against these good players, I will fold jack 7 off. That's not GTO to open it. And I know they're both decent and aggressive. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, I have players to my left who are pretty good, and normally I would just not play against them. I would move tables, but now because I'm streaming, I don't table select. I just play wherever I can. Right, opening ace jack off and calling, defending the big blind with queen jack off. And having a gut shot. So if you see bets, so we know that he loves to bet when check to. And here ace jack is not, it could go either way. I'm just deciding to check. And here I'm going to check raise this one quite big. Okay, and now with this ace, I can just check again. I don't think I'll get a lot of value anyway. And he might bluff the river, and if not, I can go for value on the river. And he overbets this river, saying that he's got a really strong hand, which is possible, but I don't believe him, so I call, and he has a flush. Okay. Right, this guy called, which is not great. Now we, with the 9 pairing, that's not great either. So we'll check and probably give up. That's the problem when you're playing out of position. And now he keeps betting, and all we have is, I mean, he shouldn't bet that small, but then again, if he has pocket 7s or 8s or 9s, then he can go small. And we have a gut shot. We're not even drawing to the nuts. There is not much we can do. We have to fold. Yes, after the last few times we had some really good results, especially in the last session. I think we won more than 2 buy-ins in an hour and a half. But this time so far it's not been going great. Not terrible, but I just didn't believe them a few times. Okay, we are getting 3-bet again. And now I'm going to 4-bet again. This is not a hand I can call with, and it is quite like it's the bottom of my range that I would like to continue playing, but I can't really call with it, so I think it's great. But we're getting jammed on once again. This player is quite aggressive indeed. Okay, 5-bet me button. No, what was it? Small blind versus button. Okay, let's see. Maybe we have another chance here now. Gonna raise pocket queens. So I will tag him as an aggressive player. That's the green one. Okay, king, king, 10. I am going to start with a check against this rather aggressive player. And now we have a decent draw, but I don't think I can get called by much worse, which is why I check. And after he just checks 3 times, I am gonna go for the bet. And he just folds, okay. So yeah, I don't know if I've just run into the top of their range the few times when or the 2 times when I 4-bet and got 5-bet jammed, or if they are just aggressive players and they found the right 5-bet bluff there, but both times I didn't have hands that I could call that off with. So that is okay. Queen 4, queen 6, queen 4, 4 deuce. Those are the 4 hands that I got dealt last on each of the tables. Seven deuce off now for a change. Pocket nines, this is one we can open. 7 deuce, we might see a free flop with it against our friend here. Yep, we can see a free flop, that is great. And we flop the deuce, which is okay. He now bets half pot. I mean, he bet the last time as well. I'm not just not gonna put any money with 7 deuce. I just really refuse to play 7 deuce. We have F7 deuce again. What a treat. Yeah, not many playable hands. Queen 10 suited in the big blind though. This might be one. Okay, there's a raise on the button and a call, and I don't want to squeeze this. The problem is this guy is so short stacked that I am just going to call that as well. Flopping top pair. Here we have had this one before. Let's just isolate him again. There's a small bet there. Definitely gonna call. Here we're gonna 3-bet ace-3 suited. He bets 4. That's still small enough. Could be a better queen, but could be something weaker. Definitely going to call. And he had nothing. Okay, I got cold 4-bet now, so this is just a fold, unfortunately. And here with the king jack, I isolated the fish, and then 2 other players called as well, which is not great. Had we been heads up, I would have bet this, but as it is, I will have to check. Ace doesn't really improve much for me, except that now I have a gut shot to go. But I don't even have 2 overcards, and once he bets half pot, our passive fish player, I have to fold. And everyone else folds as well. Yeah, still not going very well, but as we know, one hand can change everything. And we have ace king. Gonna go. Oh, there is a race. Okay, so then we're going to 3-bet our ace king. Don't know anything about surfing soul. He calls, and this is a decent flop for me. We can definitely start with a small bet. He can't have aces. He should probably. He can have jacks. Can potentially have sevens. This is interesting now that he check raises. That is. I am still gonna call here, but I'll see. Okay, well, now that I have top 2 pair, that is annoying. Okay, here we have an all-in, and we have ace king, so we are just gonna jam as well. Right, and here we have top 2 pair. I don't think I can fold here, but on the other hand, what like, he has so many jacks there, but I still think with top two pair and a 3-bet pot, I'll just have to. I'll just call it off. And yep, he had ace jack. That's the one hand that I actually hoped that he had, because everything else I can't really beat, but that was great. But we lost with our ace king, I think. If I saw that right, where is the hand? Yes, ace king versus sevens, but that's okay. And we got really lucky with our ace king. We were drawing almost dead on the flop. Okay, here we're getting 3-bet. This is then a fold. Here we're a monkey in the middle. I'm gonna start with a check. Irish aces is a bit of an aggressive player, although he just called on the button. Okay, the king not amazing, but is it worth? I think I'm just gonna check again. I don't think I can get 2 streets of value anyway. And oh, this is like the one card that's really bad. I mean, this is just the only card I didn't really want to see, apart from maybe a queen, because a heart would have been fine and everything else. But we do win it because, oh my God, look at it, was 7-3 suited, and God knows what the other player had. So we did win it, but we couldn't go for value with that ace there. And but it's still good that we won it, because that was really the worst card in the deck. Okay, queen 3 suited. Let's raise this one up. Okay, so here on this board I'd go either with a big bet or a check. So because queens I don't want to bet big, will be a check. And he now bets quite small, and I will just call. Here I also call behind 9-7 suited, just so that I can check fold on the flop. Well, he bet small on the turn, and now he overbets this river. And this is another one. Will I pay him off? All these players are already good enough at 50 NL. This is the guy who check raised me earlier with the ace jack. I am still gonna call this one off. And he did it with a king. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is the one leak that I've had so far at 50 NL. I've just given them too much credit to find bluffs, and I called, like, most of the hands that I lost, where I lost fairly big amounts today, were rivers where I called where I was beat. I don't think I was good once when I called the river. And yes, it could just be a fluke, but there's a little bit of a pattern evolving there. So that is something I have to look into, or just adjust and just give them less credit. Normally, I think I'm not bad at deciding when to call the river, but yeah, so far today, I've been wrong every time. But yeah, that's still not a problem. We can adjust. And I think what I'll just do against player pool in general is just overfold the rivers. Because normally, yes, I know at small stakes that's the case, but I just thought these 50 NL players are a bit better, and maybe they are, but they do seem a little more on the value side. But at least it's good for my red line that I haven't folded any of these rivers. It's just the blue line that was suffering from that. We have pocket tens. This guy raises again, and we are going to 3-bet him again. So this is the one who had ace-jack and when I had ace-king. And I think it was ace-jack offsuit and he called the 3-bet with. Oh, and now there is... Yeah, so this is the one thing. I got cold 4-bet. I think this is the third time today. And this is a fairly good player. But the thing is, when he goes so big here, he goes 3x in position, even more than 3x in position, I think that is just way too big. I will just fold my pocket tens. And here I have to fold queen jack off as well. Yeah, tens is a good hand, but against a cold 4-bet, that's 3x the size in position. Right, so what's going on here? I don't understand. I'm just folding because I don't understand what's going on. 1.1, 1.1, 0.1. What's going on there? I do not know what this table is about. Right, here I'm gonna start with a small bet. Here I'm gonna call this third pot bet with second pair. And here on 468 getting check raised. And now I am going to, well, I'm gonna call this one. Now I have an open ender. This is again the same player who had the ace jack when I had ace king, and when he does this I will definitely just have to call this one. Yeah, so unfortunately well, he checks now, and this has to be my green light for bluffing. I'm gonna make it too big. Still a small overbet though. And he folds. Great. We probably got him to fold the best hand there, although maybe my 5 was good. But yeah, he might have a 2 pair and then he doesn't want to call that on a 4 straight. So yeah, my red line is done okay, I think. Ace 2 suited in the low jack, just going to fold. 7 deuce, definitely going to fold. Jack 10 suited, we can raise this one up in the hijack. And everyone folds, that's fine. King jack and the hijack is an open. 6 suited in the small blind. Going to raise it up. Getting 3-bet. He took quite a while there, but I think it's okay to fold. I think in GTO you can just about call with it, but I think it's more a fold than a call, and then I just prefer to go the lower variance route. Right, Surfing Soul raises again. We've dueled quite a bit with him. I'm gonna let him get away with it this time. Queen 2 suited again. Nine, 8 off. I'll just fold it. 10, 8 off. This is the mixed open, but against two good players in the blinds, I'm going to fold. Too good and aggressive, I should add. Okay, ace 4 suited, we can open it. Just about in the low jack. We get called by the button, that's interesting. Okay, we have 2 pair. Starting with a range check out of position. He bets we are going to go pretty big, because if he has a good ace there, then I'm happy to put a lot of money in there. Could of course have pocket 5s or pocket 4. Don't think he has ace 5. So we're really only afraid of pocket 5s. Okay, this I am going to continue betting small now with my check raise. He might of course have a flush, but I'm still going to go for value. If I get raised, it's an easy fold, even though he is an aggressive player and he does raise. Yeah, it was an unfortunate run out there and not much I can do, so unfortunately I have to let it go. And it's a bit weird that he called there anyway. Pre-flop, I mean. I think the line that I took maybe wasn't the best against a good player. I think the check raise on the flop was good, but then just on that run out with a flush coming in straight away on the turn, that's when it started falling apart, unfortunately. Jack 7 suited. This is a hand that I can, oops, not go all in with, just 12.2. And he folds, that's great. Okay, our table whale raises to 3x, but 5-4 of suited in the small blind is still not good. Had it been in the big blind, I would have called. And he's back to his usual limping game now. And we're back to the 7 deuce. King 7 off. I'm gonna raise this on the button, even though I still have the two good or better players in the blinds, but we get it through this time anyway, so that's all good. S4 off is a fold, 10-9 suited. Just about an open for me in the cutoff. Ooh, this would be a nice flop for my 10-9. I think this table on the top right is actually quite reg heavy. Well, raising the third hand in a row. The first two were uncontested, and here we go, getting 3-bet again. Yeah, so this is just not a good table to be at. I think I'm gonna try to find another one. Let's see if there is any. Ace 4 suited. I'm just gonna fold now. Need to check if there are any. Okay, gonna play this one, and I'm going to sit out on this one then, because it just got a bit too reggy. I don't know if this one's any better, but we'll see. So here we're leaving. Okay, I have to change these two again because I'm just used to having it this way. Nine, seven off. Gonna raise it. Flop a 9, but on a board that's not amazing. We're still going to start with a bet. Just kind of clear out some equity or so, and this is a pretty good turn. So now I want to maximize value against an ace. Folding 8-7 suited to this 3-bet. Unfortunately, he folded to my overbet. Okay, oh yeah, there is a limp, and one of the better players limps behind, and I do want to raise this still. It's quite marginal, but I do want to. And we get called by the first player, and let's see if we get back raised by Sebastian, because I do expect that there is like a 20% chance of that happening. But he calls as well. And I don't think anyone has an ace here, to be fair. So I am going to start betting. And here we have ace king, and with ace king we're definitely going to raise. And here we're getting raised, so I fold, and yeah, I got this one here in the top left, because that's the thing, like, I mean, it's not impossible, of course, that someone has an ace, but Sebastian just limped behind initially, then called the 8, and if he had an ace, I don't think he would have called there. Like, yes, it's possible that he has a suited ace that he wants to see a flop multi-way with, but I still think that it's more likely that he has some sort of a pocket pair. And then 8 big blinds is only a third pot bet there, but it's still quite a big bet. Here we got pocket tens again, 3 betting this player again. This happened before, and then I got cold 4 bet. So yeah, even though 8 big blinds is only a third pot bet there, the thing is it sounds quite a lot. If you have an under pair, you're not going to invest 8 big blinds with an under pair there. So that's why I was very happy with that bet, and even happier with the result when both players folded. Okay, we got these 2 players to fold. Let's see what Surfing Soul does. He's gonna 4-bet us, call or fold. He folds. That is my favorite option, actually. I wouldn't have minded a call. I would only have minded a 4-bet with my exact hand. Ace 10 off, this is now marginal. I could of course open it in the low jack, but because I've been quite aggressive, I will just tone down and fold this marginal hand, because I can't win a lot with this hand, and then there's no point in playing it. Pocket jacks. and ace jack off this one. So we're still in the low jack because one player is sitting out, so I can open this. Okay. So here I'm gonna start with a range bet on queen 6 deuce from early position against this weaker player. Here we're getting 3 bet by the small blind. I'm going to call this one. Here I'm going to check, and this is a pretty nice flop. Jack 9 deuce with a... Okay, I'm gonna stab this one, and here he bets quite small-ish on the river. Does he ever have a bluff there? And we're getting check raised, which is great. This is what we wanted. And here we are going to call this one. And we chop. Okay, so this guy now checks. We are still going to go. Okay, let's do this. After he check raised us, he might still have an overpair, but he evidently was just messing around, so that's okay. Here, pocket kings. Oh, we have to. Gonna cold 4 bet. Get called. And now we have less than the 1 SPR. I could just shove there if he has a smaller pair. Let me just shove. He'll call with queens, with jacks. Oh, he has the same hand. Ah, what a bummer. What a bummer. Pocket kings versus pocket kings. Why couldn't he have queens? Well, interesting that he didn't just shove pre with his kings. Leaving less than 1 SPR of 1 is just a bit silly, but okay. King queen suited. I am going to 3-bet this in the small blind. You're getting 3-bet again by this player. This time we are going to 4-bet him. And here we are going to c-bet. He calls. Here we got it through. That's great. I am gonna check this. I don't know if I should bet, but this is the player who might take a stab. Oh, and why does the ace have to come on this river? Why does the ace have to come on this river? Okay, anyway, we are going to go for a 3rd pot bet now, hoping to get a crying call from king jack, king 10, pocket jacks or so, and just not wanting to get bluffed ourselves. But maybe, yeah, the ace might have killed the action there, because it looked like I had the ace and now I'm trying to extract some value. But yeah, very annoying. Maybe I should have gone for the double barrel there. But the thing is, out of position, I don't really love going for the double barrel. Okay, here, queen jack suited. I'm gonna call this one. I could have 3-bet. And when he checks, I am going to take a small stab at it. We are in position after all. He calls, and now he bets half pot. And that is such a weird line. Like, what would you take such a line with? But whatever it is, you got me to fold. Pocket fours. We can open this one. Not many playable hands again. But overall, I think we're doing all right now. Not like amazing, but all right. But yeah, we got lucky in the biggest pot of the day where we had ace king, villain at ace jack, flop comes ace jack 4 or so, and then he check raises me, I call, and then he jams the turn when the king comes, so I have two better pair than him, and I take all his money. Ace 2 suited, we can open this in the cutoff. And with a min raise, we just take it down, which is excellent. Like the pot is 2.2 big blinds, and I only risk 2 to win 2.2. So if that goes well 50% of the time, I'm already printing, even if I were to never win. Anything on the flop. Right, here we have bottom pair. This guy now pots it. If he pots it, I'll just fold. Here we are going to go for a c-bet on queen 4-3. We get called. The 5 doesn't change that much probably, but it brings in some draws. Even two pair with 5-4. I'm gonna check this, and then the 5 on the river. And he bets almost pot, and when he bets almost pot, I think that he has something, so I will just fold. And we have the Cowboys again, pocket kings. Folding 7-3 suited. Okay, we are going to raise them. You're gonna fold here, king jack. We're just about calling against an early position raise. We flop second pair. He bets quite big, which is fine. We're definitely going to call this one. We're getting 3-bet by this guy, and now I have two options. I could either just 4-bet or jam. If he, I quite like jamming with kings, because if he has queens through 10s or ace-king, he will call. And with other hands, he might fold them anyway, except for a hand like ace-queen suited or so. And here we have aces. Gonna raise these. This guy double barrels. I'm just gonna fold. And unfortunately, we didn't get any action with our kings. But I quite like this one. And yes, sometimes I think it might be because I'm just afraid of an ace coming on the flop or so. And it just alleviates the pain of having to make a tough decision on the flop or turn, but I still think it's a good strategy, and it is GTO approved pretty much, and I do think that is good. Here, unfortunately, getting 3-bet with my queen 9 off and can't do much, so I have to fold. Yeah, so if villain has queens, jacks, tens, I'm almost certain he will call. You might even call with any other pocket pair that he decided to raise, although maybe not like small ones, but nines or eights wouldn't be inconceivable. And then he will call ace king, and he might even call ace queen suited. So some of them might do that. And there aren't many hands that would call a normal 4-bet but wouldn't call a shove. So ace queen suited, ace jack suited are the ones that come to mind. And I don't even fully mind if they fold, because that means that there's still a lot of equity that I fold out. There's 30% equity, especially then if they also have position on me. So that's just great to be able to fold that out too. And if they call me with pocket queens and fold out ace queen, that's a decent result for me, because I'm of course a bigger favorite against queens than against ace queen. Okay, they would have done something with my king 10 suited, but not against the 3-bet. Yeah, so what I've discovered is with Poker Tracker 4, because obviously you can't use Poker Tracker 4 on Coin Poker. Okay, here I'm just gonna, well, with this hand I'm actually going to 3-bet. 3-bet him a few times. Actually, he's always called, so I think this wasn't a great one. And now he 4-bets. Okay, yeah, this was stupid. I just didn't see that it was this player. I wouldn't have done that if I had seen him. Anyway, here Jack 9 suited is good enough to call behind, even in a multi-way pot. And we can go, we can start, well, no, because this guy, I'll just check. This guy is a weak player and he's short stacked, so I will just go, we'll just check. And now he bets, so I can fold. Yeah, so Poker Tracker, whilst you can't use it while when playing on Coin Poker, but it gives you valuable information about the player pool. So what you can do is just you can request to have the hands sent to you by the customer service representatives at Coin Poker, and then you can upload your hands into Poker Tracker 4, and then you can analyze them. So you can either just look at individual players and their stats, or just make cumulative analyses, like whatever you would like to do. And that can be really cool, so especially if you play more often in a pool like this, you'll get quite a bit of data, and then you can see. So for example, I'm going to look up this player ALYP, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but something like that. Okay, here I'm up against Surfing Soul once again. He seems to be the main villain today. I'm gonna check this one back this time. Now I have an open ender to go with my top pair, which is pretty good. Definitely able to call a bet, but he checks, and when he checks, I am just gonna check again as well. And now I have the third nuts. Here I have to check, here I can check, and here I'm going to go for a big bet. Here I'm also going to go for a big bet. Here I'm going to check. And fortunately, I think he folded. Didn't quite see. Okay, here we have queens. Let's raise them. Here, I think this time I am going to call with a royal flush draw now. And I do have the straight already. He bets quite big, definitely calling this one. And here, this guy is definitely getting 4-bet. And now this is such an annoying river. This is such an annoying river. Such an annoying river. And he now bets pot. So I'm calling to win half of that. Like betting 2x pot. And if he has a flush, then I lose. So I'll just have to give up, which is really, really, really annoying. I had such a good hand with an amazing draw, and then on the river just bricked. Yeah, here we go. I mean, yeah, the draw bricked and straight completed. So I was playing the board by the river. Sadly. Oh yeah, and with the pocket queens we got him to fold when we 4-bet. That's okay. Well, it was the first time I 4-bet and I didn't get 5-bet jammed, I think. When now I would probably have called it off. Ace Jack on the button. Well, there's a raise in early position by this player. So I think now I just, well, fold. I used to raise this a lot on the button against early position, but this player is an aggressive one. So yeah, but I still don't want to call there, even though I have position, but ace jack off just doesn't play well. And then I don't want to raise and get 4-bet either necessarily, although I could of course still do that, but early position ranges do tend to be quite snug, especially by the regs in this field. Same applies to king 9 off, definitely folding. King 9 suited, I could try to make a play. Ace 10 off in the cutoff, raising it and getting 3-bet again. Well, I'm gonna 4-bet him again. He seems quite the aggressive player. Okay, let's just do this again to 25. Now, of course, he jams. When I have the queens, then... okay. I have to fold once again. So I got 5-bet jammed on 5 times today. And once I had, no, 4 times. One time I didn't. So I 4-bet 5 times. I got jammed on 4 times. And the one time I didn't get jammed on, I actually had the best hand. And on all the others, I just had to fold because I was 4-bet bluffing. So that is very annoying. Okay, ace deuce suited on the button. Going to 3-bet this against the cutoff open. See, am I getting 4-bet? No, he folds. Great. That's what we want to see when we're at the bottom of our range. Okay, they have to fold king 4 off. After surfing soul, it's isolating the limper. Okay, 6-2 is off, definitely folding. Jack 9 suited. That would be very borderline 3-bet in the small blind versus cutoff. So I just prefer to fold it. King Queen suited. Okay, this will be an ISO to 6 big blinds. But this time we fold, but happy with that. Getting 2.7 big blinds uncontested. I shall not complain. I've had king 3 off in the big blind several times today. Yeah, so Cyrus is asking how's the grind going. I could see you moved up to NL50. Yes, I moved up to NL50 because I saw that NL50 plays the same as NL25 really. I can't tell much of a skill difference. The regs are basically the same that grind both of those stakes, and so I've moved up to 50 NL and might even move up a bit further if my bankroll then allows it. So yeah, it's been going okay. I did a results show. If you saw that one maybe. For June where I played 25 NL, and I did quite well there. So obviously it was only like what 3,000 hands or so because I didn't play that much, so it's not exactly a great sample size, but it was still good to see that 25 NL is actually very profitable on coin poker. So that was also a reason why I said, okay, let's try 50 NL then. King Jack off against the 3-bet from the big blind. I will just let it go. So yeah, check out my results video. It's here on the channel. And you'll see how I did there. Okay, Queen 6 off. Nope. Ten 3 off. Jack 10 off is a bit too early to raise there. Queen 6 off, obviously not playable. Okay, sorry, I'm being a bit quiet again. There's just absolutely nothing going on. Hopefully soon we'll have another hand. Well, might be able to work with a 10-8 suited. Jack 8 suited, too early. King 4 suited will also be too early in the cutoff. Okay, so we're up against Surfing Soul again, blind versus blind. Let's see if he raises. Well, at the moment, he's not doing anything. Great. Okay, 5-4 suited in the big blind. 5 deuce suited in the big blind. Okay, now he raised, and now we can call. Flopping second pair. That's not too bad. He c-bets. Not much for me to do than to call. And here there was a raise and a min 3 bet, so I'm just gonna fold. Here now we turn trips, so if he has a king, I want him to call, so I'm gonna go big, and he just folds. Okay. Oh, he was just c-betting range there, and then folded. Gave up. Pocket jacks on the button. There's an early position raise by a rather aggressive player, and here we're gonna raise this. I am going to just call this one, and here I'm going to c-bet, get snapped, and now we are checking. Okay, this one, let's check it around, and that's pretty good turn for me. Here we can start with a bet. Here we can fold, here we can fold, and here we're gonna raise this one. And now I'm gonna start with a check, and I'll have to fold to his big bet. Okay, let's see. This guy now checks. Okay, we don't care about flush draws because they would have missed anyway. If he has nines, king jack, or pocket threes, I think that we can get all his money. We are gonna just shove this one. Folded. Yeah, maybe it was too big, but because we even had the jack of hearts there, and here we are getting 3-bet, and we're getting 3-bet big to 8 big blinds. Just gonna fold for that. King queen off against such an early position raise is also a fold. So yeah, maybe we didn't get the maximum there. Maybe I should go more like pot rather than 2.5x pot. Yeah, not really happy how I played this, to be honest. And yes, maybe I am biased by the result. I'm gonna fold queen 10 off in the hijack. Okay, fold king 9 suited from early. And I'm folding queen deuce suited from early position. Raising pocket hands under the gun. Getting 3-bet by this rather aggressive player. Pocket 10s are good enough to call that 3-bet. an overpair. Fortunately with sevens I have to fold, and this is a very annoying turn because this really improves his range. And at this point I probably just have to give up. I mean, what if he didn't bluff the turn? Like what do I beat here? And he now bets quite big. There's nothing that I beat here. Like he would have to not have bet the turn with king queen or king 10 or queen 10, and I block all the ones with the tens in it. So this is just a fold. King 10 suited. I mean, it's pathetic that he only raised 2 big blinds, but I'm still just gonna call because I don't want to get 4-bet with a hand like king 10. And yeah, just to get back to the hands with the tens, the hand with the tens, I don't think that I could have bluffed him. There by check jamming, because it would be such a weird line to take, like to check 3 times to then check jam. And here, just exploitatively, I'm just raising this. I don't think he has much. He does min click it again. And normally I should be able to go a bit smaller, but okay, I am gonna call this one. And now I have a gut shot. Calling with ace-3 suited, even though it's a 3x raise, but we have this weaker player there. Here I am going to raise, here I'm going to fold, here I'm going to bet again. Where he bet 3-bet me, I called, and now he folded. He was obviously not very strong there. I did not give up. Okay, well, we certainly don't have a great hand. And against 2 players, I'm just going to start with a check, but maybe, hopefully, the king will have bailed us out. Potentially, it'll get us into big trouble, but they both check, so I'm just going to go with and not a huge bet, because I want to keep hands like 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s in there, or like ace-5. And they both folded anyway. King 10 suited, ace-4 suited against this player once again. Okay, I'm gonna 3-bet him one more time. Ace-10 suited, gonna 3-bet again, even though it's the same player that I just 3-bet. Earlier was a squeeze, now it's a proper 3-bet. And here we got it through with the ace-4 suited. That is great. We get cold called. Wow, that's interesting. We're getting cold called by this player. Definitely going to start with a bet. There's a cold call there. Usually is a hand between like 9s and queens. And he folds, which is great because at the end of the day all we had was ace high. Okay. Okay, cold, cold, 3-bet on button. Here with this I'm definitely going to call. Okay, now we have a gut shot. Here we have to fold. I'm gonna check again. Interesting. Well, still just checking. He had pocket kings. Okay. Oh yeah, there was the other 9 there. Here I'm going to just call there with my queen. He keeps betting half pot. Okay, I'm gonna give up, though I'm not sure if he really has it. Right, queen 10 off is a fold. And now he limps, but with a6 off in the small blind, don't really want to get involved. Okay, a6 off, not continuing to a raise. Nine deuce off here, 9 deuce off there. Pocket 5s in the big blind. Gonna call with him even though he made it 3x. It's not super profitable to be fair. But I can check raise this hand. And I get called. Now I'm just going to check. He might still have all sorts of hands. And when the jack comes in on the river, I am going to check. Here I'm going to bet small. Here I'm going to call with ace queen. What happened with this? I won it. Oh, great. That's great. Okay, king, king, jack, and a 3-bet pot. You bet. That's fine. Here we're going to 3-bet. Here we're getting check raised, so we're calling. Yeah, this guy cold called my 3-bet. Okay, so then gonna do that. Here we are just checking. Flop with river top pair. Here we have I do want to go for a value after all here. We have to check. Here on this one now it's pretty grim. I'm still going to go for a small bet. And here I'll just have to fold this. And again, I missed it. What happened here? He called with ace king. That's good. Well, oh no, sorry, he had the king of spades. Oh, okay. Yes, that was my thinking, that if he has a king that's not spades, that he would call. Because I made it small enough for those hands to call. But it's interesting that he didn't raise with a king of spades. Okay, we're getting 3-bet again. This time we have ace 10 suited. I am going to call this one. He will probably c-bet range, and I am going to raise this one. Check raising it. I could have 4s, I could have 6s. And I might get him to fold a hand like ace queen or ace jack. Not happening. Now the jack. Can I ever get him to fold a big hand? I think the SPR is not big enough, so I'm just gonna start or continue with a check. He checks behind, and look at this. Look at this. We now have the nuts. Okay, so he probably doesn't have a huge hand. So we can try. He could have king queen, he could have ace king, and against those hands I am going to go quite big. Let's go 37. And hope he has king queen or king jack or pocket queens maybe. Unfortunately, he finds a fold. When I have it, they tend to find folds. Okay, so that's life. So I am winding down these tables. So, assuming that nothing's gonna happen, we did win around $50 one buy-in, but I think we ran quite good again today, even though I made a few mistakes, but in general we ran good, we did well, so that was quite nice. Let's see this. Actually, I have 2 more hands, so there is still chance to be even better or worse. Come on now. Nice 4 off. Good hand to fold. Okay, this is going a bit slowly now. Come on, we got one more hand to play. There's a 3-bet. Come on, Bandib. Just fold. Actually 4 bets. Let's see what Stilio does. He folds. Okay. Cool. Last hand of the day. Let's see. Anticlimax. Yep, ace-3 off. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, I made about $60